And there we see you've been already greeted by by these guys, the lovely and talented Zoom Room crew. Say good morning, Zoom Room.
Morning,
or good afternoon, or good evening,
Morning.
or good middle of the night, wherever you might be.
Yeah.
And
I
by
recognize a couple of you sellers.
by that sign, you can see that it is Saturday and time for the meeting of the Virtual Pipe Club. I'm your host, David Dorian Ross, founder of the Virtual Pipe Club. And those were just some of the wonderful people who are officially members. I want to say that we are also streaming live right now to both Facebook and YouTube. And Kirk from Florida is already saying, glad to be here. So there we go. We get regularly a lot of people from all over the world. So if you are outside of the U.S., tell us where you're smoking from. We have a very special guest today. She is an award-winning pipe carver. She is also somebody who has received tons of praise from, when I posted on the notifications this morning that she was going to be our guest. We got all kinds of people saying, "Oh, Scotty's the best. She's wonderful." She is the queen of the pencil shank design. And I'm not going to tell you what her name is until later. So you're just going to have to wait for that. But first, what I'm going to do is turn it over to my buddy Oliver for our weekly ritual of everybody sharing what they're smoking and what they're smoking it in. And you guys know what to do about raising your hands and everything like that. If you're over there on Facebook and YouTube, please join in. Throw up what? Don't throw up. My dog already did that this morning. Put up your own contribution to what you're smoking, and I'll share it with the rest of the group. All right. Oliver, sir.
Thank you very much, DDR. Hello and welcome here from Chicagoland. Good to see you all. And let's start with our little warm-up, like always. Let me start with something what I have today, right now. I have a 320 Savinelli Oceano. I like this stuff. It's a good thing. It's a good smoker. And in it, something strong. It's St. Bruno, a flake. So it's a good one. It's very tasty. It's strong, and I like it a lot. And with that, I would like to give the virtual pipe to my friend, Mike Rizzo.
Thank you, Oliver. How is everybody? Today I'm smoking my newly acquired from Iwan Reese, that Caminetto that I was oohing and ahhing.
Oh, you got it already. Oh,
it came on Wednesday.
Wow.
It was like that. Came on Wednesday. It's like the third time I've smoked it. It's an absolute monster. I mean, it's like a 3-hour smoker. And in it, I'm smoking some, what am I smoking? Oh yeah, Capstan Gold. And then after that, I have my Briar Blues 25th anniversary Radice with some HU Yaneman flake. So it's gonna be a good day. I'll pass it over to my buddy Alvin. How you doing, Alvin?
And hello, thank you, Mike. Hello, everyone. Good morning or good evening, wherever you are. I'm smoking in my Peterson 606, one of my favorite pipes, and I'm smoking some HU English breakfast. And it's a beautiful day. I'm in Dallas. I'm doing grandkid duty, so if I should disappear at some point during this meeting, then I was assaulted by grandkids. So there you go. At any rate, so let me now pass it on to, let's see, how about David Klein? David, it's all yours.
Thank you. And greetings to everybody from South Florida. So today I'm smoking my Italian, I'm not sure what it's called. I know it's Italian because it's stamped with the word Italy right there, but I don't know who the manufacturer is. But had the pipe a long time. It's a great smoker. And inside it is some Orlik Golden Sliced. And so with that, I will pass it over to Stanislav Potapkin.
My mic. Okay, thank you, David, once more. And good morning, day, evening, everybody. Hi from Moscow. Actually, Moscow suburbia. If someone doesn't know, today yesterday, I cracked my first of half pound Golden Days of Europe by Cornell deal. So my Christmas is a little early, and I'm very grateful to Cornell and Deal for this blend, and I smoke it from my biggest pipe. It's D18 Peterson, also so-called pub pipe, but this one is limited series. It's Pipe Society of Ireland, year of 18. So I was lucky to borrow one just 2 years later than it was issued. This is a huge one. It's about 3 hours of smoke. So I'm really don't worry about second pipe if it will be over. I'm sure it's not. Okay, Miguel, you're the next, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Stanislav. Hello, everyone. Today I have my newly acquired vinyl. I found one. It's Castello Ciroc Natural Virgin, 2K Canadian, and I'm having like what Mike Rizzo said. Come on, it's pure Virginia McBaron.
There was never a doubt.
And then I also have a Group 3 Dunhill Red Ruby Bark. In it, I'll smoke a Peterson MM65.
I am jealous. I am jealous of that Costello. That thing is beautiful.
Thank you, Mike.
Beautiful.
And yeah, I'm jealous about Peterson. I'm sorry, Miguel, to interrupt you, because I still don't have it in Russia.
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, one of these days, Stanislav, I'm pretty sure that I will make something work here. And I'll pass the pipe, virtual pipe to Stephen Emas. Stephen?
Thank you, Miguel. After watching Dimitri smoke his cobs last week, I thought I'd break out the General, and in it I got some Orlick Golden Slice. And once that disappears, I got another big one, the Freehand, and I've got some Escudo in that. So let me pass the pipe to Randall. You're on mute.
Yes. Hello. Working on the club pipe, virtual pipe club 2020. Great smoker. I love it. And in it, some Watch City cigar and pipe. It's a real good one. I like it a lot. Ahab's Comfort. Good, smooth, mellow Latakia blend. Tastes great. And let's see. Who else is out here? Well, how about John in North Carolina?
There we go. When you're on a mobile device, it's a finger swipe, and it should let you know where all the people are.
Thank you, Randall. It's a great day here in Eastern North Carolina. It's good to be with you guys, and I hope you have a great day wherever you are. I am smoking a pipe I've had for quite a while. It's sat in the rack, and I don't get it out very often. It's got a stamp on it that says Fate a mano di Mario Amalini. Armalini was, that means made by hand, by the way, is what the fate a mano means. It's doesn't mean fat in the hand, which you'd think, because it's a giant pipe, one of the bigger ones I have. Armalini was a pipe manufacturer. It started in the 60s. I think Morrow himself actually died, and his daughter has picked it up and still manufactures them. As I understand, they're moderately priced. Got no idea what I paid for this. Got no recollection of when I bought the damn thing, but it is a good smoker. But I'm smoking some Country Squire Old Toby in it right now, so it's been a good smoke. So let me pass this on to Dimitri.
Hello, everybody. Today I'm smoking different Indonesian tobaccos, which I got straight from Indonesia, from East Java. I'm starting with a Belgian pipe, Hilson, and I have a few French pipes with me. A Laurental, Raquel Van Cott, Chacom, and Genot. And let me pass the pipe
Dimitri,
to.
wait, before you pass
Yes?
that along, like I've never tasted or even thought about Indonesian tobacco. You gotta give us a clue about what that tastes like there, brother.
That's because you're not a mad scientist of tobacco.
That's true.
Well, I have 4 different ones. All of them have different tastes. None of them are blends. They are straight tobaccos, but well aged. One of them is stuffed. All of them are grown in Java. So one of them is definitely Virginia. Well, actually, 2 of them definitely Virginia, and others I'm not sure what kind of leaf it is. But all of them actually taste really nice. They are on a stronger side. Well, as Virginia goes, at least it's one of the strongest Virginia I ever had. Well, I guess it's because of the climate, like closer to equator you get, the stronger tobacco you'll get from the same seed. And when I was looking for some Indonesian cigars, for Sultan cigars, I found one website which had those cigars, and also it had kretek, those Indonesian clove cigarettes, and some pipe tobacco. So I ordered everything. And let me pass the pipe to Tom Wolf.
Well, thank you. I'm smoking a Scotty Umpal that I picked up on eBay. I thought it was pretty cool because of the cut that they made at the bottom of the shank, so that it winds up being a sitter, and it's at a nice little angle like that. And I've never had one with that type of sit. I've got enough Umpal, about 45 of them now, so this is a bit unusual. I'm smoking, as usual, Mississippi River, made by under Seattle Pipe Club brand. It was the first tobacco that was created by our club member Joe Langford, and it's one of the most popular of the Seattle Pipe Club blends. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Steve Spent. You're still muted, Steve.
Nope, there's something wrong with your mic. So, should be.
It's so funny because all you hear is birds chirping. Literally.
So you're working on it, so let's pick another one.
Let's go with Stuart in Australia.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Good evening, afternoon. This morning I will be smoking my 7LE KS 111, great little aromatic smoker, and in it some Blood Red Moon. I heard a rumor, I think it was actually yesterday, about the possibility of this coming off the market. I hope that's not true, because it's a really nice aromatic when I'm in the mood for it. Right, with that, I'll pass it on. Perry.
Thanks, Stuart. I'm smoking, first pipe is going to have some Dunhill Elizabethan in it. And that's going to be in a Castello Ciroc Bulldog. And then I'll follow that with some Peter Heinrich's Chateau Henri number 8. Sounds pretty pretentious, but it's a pretty good English. And I'm going to have that in a Group 6 Dunhill Shellbriar Billiard. And with that, I'll pass it on to Chris Plumridge.
Thanks. Greetings. So today I've got some Stokerby 4th generation 1897. First bowl of this, so let's see how this one does. And I've got it in a Mark Tinsky, late 90s. So nice smoker. I haven't smoked this one in a little while. Let's see that. I'm gonna pass this to, how about Justin.
Hello, everybody. Today I'm going to be smoking. Well, I am smoking my Stanwell. It's a 123, I believe, featherweight. I'm smoking some Manhattan Afternoon by Cornell and Deal. Very lovely Virginia blend. And if I have time, I'll be smoking my Peterson. I think this is a 268, but it's got the silver band, which I really like. And then that I'll be doing some Solani Virginia Flake. I'll probably pass the pipe right on over to Bud, San Diego.
Thanks, Justin. Greetings, everybody. I'm smoking a 7LE. I think it's called Marin Glace, I believe. I'm not sure about the Italian pronunciation, but they have some really cool looking stems on them. And it's a 320. And I was smoking some Country Squire Merriweather, which is a nice burly Virginia blend. And I'm going to pass the pipe on to Thomas.
Hey, thank you, Bud. I don't know if I'm up here.
You're good.
Am I good? All right, thank you. Thanks, Bud. Boy, I love San Diego. It's probably my favorite city in the U.S. I am smoking today something called La Gloria Cubana. And this is a blend that I first tried 16 months ago when I took up the pipe again after 25-year hiatus. And went out of production like the next month. And so I scoured the internet and found the last 5 or 6 tins kind of floating around. But it's a very good English blend, and I'm smoking it today in a 7LE 616, which is probably one of my best smoking pipes. So I will pass to Fadi.
Hello, everyone. Greetings from Beirut. I'm smoking in my Dunhill Group 4 Shellbriar. And in it, I'm smoking one of my favorite Balkan #1. It's Balkan Sazieni. And I will be smoking this one only tonight. Even if it's with the second bowl, I will keep on smoking it. So that's it. And I will pass the pipe to Tim. Hello,
Thank you.
Tim.
Thank you, Foudy. Okay, today, in honor of our guest, I'm smoking my very beautiful Scotty Piersel pipe, which was one of several that was made for the Sherlock Holmes Pipe Club several years ago. It's a beautiful pipe with her classic pencil shank. And in it, I'm smoking some Amphora Virginia blend. And later on, have a Peterson Sherlock Holmes Rathbone filled up with some Regent's Flake. And with that, I'm going to turn the virtual pipe over to David Martinez.
Thank you, team. I'm just smoking a nice present received by the same person who gave me the work. It's a Tim Heineck pipe. It's a kind of like Long Devilance. It's beautiful all over the place.
That's
the color,
gorgeous.
we did kind of like dark. He just did it to my standards. And if you guys can contemplate the symmetry of the pencil and how perfectly finished it is both ways.
Wow.
That's a beautiful. It smokes like a champion.
The more
I'm
of
gonna
Tim's
smoke
pipes I
it.
see, the more I like them.
Thank you, Justin. I'm gonna crack this BU. I just got it at the tobacco shop today. This is one of the few tobaccos I tend to have, I don't know, 5, 10 to 10 year tobaccos that I used to keep in my cellar. This is one of the few blends that, since it has the honey, I noticed the youngest you smoke it with a year or two, the better, because after 3+ years, the honey is completely gone. If you guys want to try this one, try it with the honey within like a year or two. So
yeah,
I'll give it.
I found that out the hard way. I cracked it, 10, and then I let it sit for a few years, and it wasn't anywhere near as good.
Same thing happened to me. I got like a 3-4-year-old teen from somebody in St. Louis last year, crack it right away, and it's like, what is the honey? So I learned my lesson. This is one of the few that I'm gonna do it that way. And I don't know what I'm gonna do with the Sam Bird, because I don't wanna keep it for 10 years and out of the blue, the honey is gone. So, okay, time for what's next? Glenn.
Hi, thank you. Greetings to everybody. Today I'm smoking some 30-year-old Velvet, and it's been sealed its entire life. I got the tin when it was 20 years old, and I put it in immediately in glass for another 10 years. So this is as fresh and moist as could be, and it's absolutely delicious for having not much of a blend. I mean, I think it's probably 99% burley. It's absolutely delicious. Smoking it in my Kamoy Sunrise apple billiard, which is nearly all bird's eye. And just recently I acquired a mate, a Kamoy Guildhall with some beautiful grain. I can only guess that it was downgraded from a standard Kamoy because it's got a little bit of mixed grain in it, but absolutely beautiful. Very nice pipe.
How much different is the old Velvet compared to like the current Velvet?
This is the only one I've ever had. So I have smoked Granger and a few other, mostly burley tobaccos, and I've liked them all. I've been a big burley fan for a long time, but this stuff is just incredible. I mean, it's when I opened the tin 10 years ago, it smelled like somebody was smuggling liquor in there. It had very strong alcohol, and I think they do pack it with alcohol. It's one of the flavorings they add, but it's absolutely delicious. So I will pass the pipe to Marco.
Hello from Denmark. I'm smoking my Eltang Poker, and in it I'm smoking my Oleg Golden Slice. Yes. Let me pass the pipe to Ayrton.
You get an Eltang and a tin of Orlik at birth in Denmark, correct?
Almost. almost.
Yeah, I think that
You
goes
should-
along.
you
like,
should-
Your
you
first
should
your
get-
first day of high school, you have to show them that you've got your Eltang and a tin of
Yeah.
or
There isn't a more perfect pairing. I mean, it's like a match made in heaven.
It's yeah, so true. Did I pass the pipe? The to
Let me see,
Ertan?
Ertan,
Yeah.
yes. Yes,
Ertan.
hi everyone from Istanbul. Nice to see you again here in Virtual Pipe Club. So I smoking Stanwell, Danish design tonight. And in it, I'm trying Peterson Elizabethan mixture. This is the first time I smoke it, and I like it. So I think I have three team I got now. So I will continue to smoke, and I'll pass to Steve Spence.
We'll try again. Can you guys hear me this time?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Excellent. I apologize for that. Had to reboot. I don't know what was going on. Anyway, greetings, everybody, from a beautiful day here in Central Illinois, early fall day. Today I'm smoking this Saddlebit Bulldog pipe that I picked up in an antique store a few years back for little or nothing, and it's actually quite a nice pipe. It's stamped Sunrise Tawny Grain, Tawny. Other side says Vintage Briar F-5. I guess that's a Bulldog, I believe. Could be a Rhodesian. You guys can set me straight. Yeah. Anyway, in it today, yeah, that's what I thought, a Bulldog. Smoking some Peterson Hyde Park. Interesting Virginia Burley blend with just a little bit of a tiny bit of a Lakeland-esque topping or casing. Quite good. So I will, with that, I don't know if anyone still has their hand up. I will, if not, on to DDR.
Yeah, that's correct.
Your Sunrise is made by Kamoy. It's a great pipe.
Thanks, Glenn. Good to know that.
Dave, we can't hear a word from you.
Well, my wife says that's a good thing. So I was just posting on the chat into the live stream that we're going out there, how cool this is for our club to be so international. And Michael Taylor over there on YouTube agrees. It's amazing how many people from all over the world. We've got guys in the chat from Israel, from Mexico, and other places. I couldn't keep track of them at all. So today I've got 3 pipes out. I'm starting out with such terrible focus there. This is my Neerup Jepson, one of my favorites. It just can pack a ton in there. The only thing about this that I found is that, and this is entirely my fault, not the fault of the pipe, is just how hot it gets, because I'm a little chimney puffer kind of thing there, but it heats up more than some of the other pipes I have do. Then I have this delightful little pipe from Janos Kokinos, and I don't even know what kind of shape to call it, which is why I bought it, because it's just so odd, and you know how much I love odd pipes. And then in honor of our guest today, the closest thing I have to anything of her design until I get one of hers, because I'm ordering one as soon as the club meeting is over, is this Slender Man from Chris Kelly, which has until I get Scotty's, the penciliest shank that I own. So
did you buy that? I don't know what Chris called it, like the demented snail that he made, because it had your name all over it. It was the
I know.
craziest
I'm
looking pipe I've
slowly
ever
working
seen.
my way through his entire catalog. It may take
Thing
me a
was
few years.
insane.
So
Yeah.
all I've got of his, this is, he called this a cutty, but I think it deserves a better designation. It's like a bloated Venus flytrap or something.
Yeah,
The
it's like a
Slender
big
Man, and then the 2 pipes that I opened up last week, the Opium and and this bad boy right here, the bone crawler, which it's if pipes could have a serial killer, this would be it right there.
That snail pipe that he just posted yesterday makes that pipe look like conservative. I mean, it's crazy.
I'm gonna
Well,
get
that
one.
pipe is, would be perfect for Halloween.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bust all these out for Halloween. Today, what I'm smoking
Carnivorous snail.
is some Three Nuns Green. I just had a hankering for some Three Nuns, and so I pulled this out. I may get more creative later. Well, so for those people who are watching maybe for the first time or haven't been watching for a long time over there on the live stream, this is sort of our club ritual, and I think it's always said to me like a great way of connecting and sharing. I learn a ton every week about and get ideas for other tobaccos to smoke and then have pipe envy for sure. And then random stuff, which almost always comes from Dimitri, right? As Mike said, the mad scientist of pipe tobacco. And so I'm grateful for the opportunity that we have to have everybody share. If you guys over there who are watching on the live stream want to join us, you can join us in the Zoom room anytime you want to. I always put the link up on the Facebook groups. And I know there's a bunch of people over there on YouTube who says, I don't do Facebook. And I totally appreciate that. I don't put the link into YouTube because every time we've done that in the past, we've been Zoom bombed by Pornhub. And yeah. Now Miguel is not opposed to that, but I think the rest of us find that a little disturbing. So
you know what they could do, or we should like set it up to where they can email somebody, and we could, if they're interested in doing Zoom but don't do Facebook, and maybe just email the Zoom link to them, and they can join.
I think that's a good idea. We'll make Oliver the designated receiver of those emails. All right. So that's our ritual. Now it's on to the next part of our club meeting, which is the delightful opportunity to introduce a new guest that we have not had on before. She came very highly recommended by a lot of the club members was it 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, when Tim and David were at the Columbus Pipe show. They walked by her table and I was looking at all the pipes on her table. It was like, wow, I've got to get that into my collection. She is, as I've said, an award-winning carver, the queen of the pencil shank design, Scotty Piersel. And so, Scotty, welcome to the club. I have to stop talking now, otherwise the screen goes into the twilight zone. So, for those people who have been in a cave for the last 10 or 15 years, why don't you give us the brief background on who you are and what your company's like?
I started making pipes a little over 10 years ago. I made my first one as a Father's Day present for my husband. I bought a kit from Mark Tensky, and I finished it rather quickly. I was working on it at nights when he was asleep and our oldest was asleep. And I was doing it in the basement. We were finishing the basement at the time, and I had, there were a couple sawhorses down there where we were putting the studs up, and I was working in the pile of sawdust, so he didn't know what I was doing. So I gave it to him like 2 weeks early, and I said, here you go, but I really liked this, so now I want some tools, and I want to do it some more. So you can see my drill press behind me. That was the first thing that we bought, followed pretty quickly by the band saw, and then a little teeny tiny tabletop Rikon lathe. That lathe lasted probably longer than it should have before I started getting blocks in this big, and I needed a bigger lathe. So now I have a big wood lathe that I can turn 42 inches in between center. I've never turned anything quite that long, but one day, maybe. I think we'll probably get to that point. If nothing else, it'll be fun to try. So the pencil shank started, gosh, it's probably been 7 years ago. I went to a pipe club meeting here in Kansas City, and I was talking to George Debos, and we were throwing around different ideas. And we started talking about how thin around can I make a pipe? And he said, I don't know, go home and try it and see what you come up with. And I actually meant to grab this. So after about 2 months worth of meetings and throwing 20 in the trash, I ended up with this. This is my very first Scotty pipe. I'm going backwards here. There we go. And it's never been smoked. And I don't think I will ever sell it. It just hangs out here in the garage.
What does
And gets
it weigh,
bounced
Scotty?
around. Huh?
How much does it weigh? Do you know, offhand?
This one probably weighs about 20 grams. The smallest one I have ever made was 12. Yeah. And that was after it was sandblasted, and the goal was to get under 14. And so I sandblasted the pipe, I stained it, I oiled it, I put it on the scale, and it was like 15. So then I sandblasted it again and refinished it, and it ended up being 12.
That's unbelievable.
I mean, I don't know what this weighs, but this is a very comfortable light pipe. Very easy
And I
to
bet
hold in
that
your
one
mouth.
probably weighs 40 grams.
Yeah, it's very comfortable to hold in your mouth, and it feels light as a feather.
The question is, if your son or daughter, if you have, wants to smoke that first pipe, will you give it to them?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Just because it's never been smoked doesn't mean that one day it won't be. We'll put it that way. I don't have a lot of time. I do now that the kids are a little older. We've got 3. Our oldest daughter is 11. Our son will be 10 next month, and our youngest daughter is 8. So they're a little more self-sufficient than they were when I started doing this. I just don't have an hour to kill to sit around and relax and smoke a pipe. So I might smoke a pipe at a pipe show, and maybe 2 or 3 times through the year, but not a lot. So I've got a few pipes that I do smoke. The only thing I smoke is McClellan 5100 or McCraney's Red Ribbon, which is the same thing. So before McClellan shut down, I had smoking pipes send me about 10 pounds of 5100, and I already had about 7. And as much as I smoke, or as little as I smoke, I think I probably have about 8 lifetimes worth of tobacco in a closet in the basement. So I'm good there.
I'm gonna jump in and say, first of all, I'm jealous about the red ribbon that you have. I have one jar that I am like hoarding, and that's my favorite of all.
I've got like 7, 8, 10 tins of the 83.
You're my best friend. Did you know that?
Just, if you're going to come over and rob me, I am very well armed.
I'm too much of a pacifist to rob anybody, but perhaps I can, we'll talk.
I do share at pipe shows.
That is where I'm hoping to meet you. Well, it'll have to be next year now, but would love to do that. Listen, I want to go back to ask you a question.
Sure.
So in your first pipe that you made for your husband, you said, right away you knew that you liked it. So what was it that you liked about it? Was it just using your hands, or the pipe that you wound up with? Tell us a little bit more about that.
No, the pipe that I wound up with is god awful, and it's on the shelf behind me somewhere, and it floats around, and I find it once a year, and I'm like, oh yeah, that thing, and I chuck it back on the shelf, and I don't want to see it for another year. So I grew up in an auto body shop. It was my grandpa's shop. My dad worked there. A lot of his cousins worked there. I literally grew up sitting on a toolbox watching my dad build street rods. That's what he did. So from a really early age, I was shown what you can do with your hands. I'm in my garage now. It's a 2-car garage. We live on a city lot. If I had room for a car, I would have had a car years ago and would have never started making pipes. If Heath would let me have a kiln here in the garage, I would have started throwing pots and not making pipes. But, you know, rightfully so, he's concerned that the kiln would overheat and the house would burn down. So maybe someday. All the men in my family are mechanics or bodymen, and all the women cut hair. Like, it's that simple. My littlest sister is a math teacher now, but she went to cosmetology school first. My middle sister went to cosmetology school and then went back to school so that she could teach others how to do what she does. And now she's a stay-at-home mom and she makes cookies. If any of you were at the Columbus show in 2019, you had some of my sister's cookies. And she came with me to the Columbus show this year, and we left the cookies at home on the counter. So sorry. We promised we were going to share. So yeah, I think if it wasn't pipes, it would be something else. You know, I really enjoy working with my hands. I think it's the process as much as it is the end result for me. Last year I got into stained glass. I made a window for the entryway. We've got a 20-foot ceiling in the entryway and a big, huge window way up in the air that now has stained glass because I just thought I finally got to do this. So my hobbies are legion, but most of them all involve building or making something. I cook. I don't like to do the dishes afterwards, but I cook, I bake. There's not a lot I don't do.
Well, that's fascinating. Do you consider pipe making then a hobby? Because you've certainly made a career out of it. You've certainly made a name for yourself by your designs. But is this something that might go away someday?
So it totally started as a hobby. It started as kind of a little bit of me time. So when we had our oldest, I used to do air freight. So, you know, I went to work every day. And when we had our oldest, we decided that I would stay home and I would help out with the landscape business that we own. So I, you know, watched the kids, did the books, answered the phone, and pipes started after that first one as a way for me to sneak away and have a little bit of me time. And it got to the point that I started selling them on the Brothers of Briar forum.
We got a brief moment of her
There we
being
go.
frozen. There you go. There
Am
you're
I back? Okay, yeah. Google Fiber. What can you say? So what did you hear?
Your I think it was your credit card number.
He started
Yeah.
selling them on the Brothers of Briar
Okay.
forum.
Yep. Brothers of Briar and Pipe Makers Forum were my first online presence, you could say. So I started selling them there, and the demand got to be high enough that it was just kind of a snowball rolling down the hill. It totally was just supposed to be a hobby, and now it's a full-time job. So I get the kids out of here every morning. I get Heath out of here every morning. I take care of what needs to be taken care of for his business. And then I come outside and work until everybody comes home at the end of the day. I should do a better job of coming back out here and working after everyone goes to sleep at night. I'm a night owl. 1, 2 o'clock in the morning is normal bedtime for me. But there's so many great movies to watch and books to read that the work at night does not get done as much as it should. So I have times where I'm out here every waking moment and things go right, and I make 45 pipes in a month. And then I'll have months like this month is turning out where I've made 5. So, you know, it's kind of really hit or miss from that standpoint, but it just all depends on what else is going on here. I don't see this going away probably ever. I enjoy it too much. I turn bowls, I turn pepper mills, I make things, and ultimately I always end up, okay, that was fun, but I like pipes more. So no, I don't think this is going anywhere.
I was going to ask, do you still get the same joy out of it, or is it more of a burden now that it's, you know, a business?
No, absolutely not, because I will not make a pipe that I'm not excited to make. If somebody commissions a pipe from me, I will not make it until I'm in the mood to make it. Because if I do, nobody's going to be happy with the end result.
It's a good motto. Way to not get burned out.
One tip that I might give you, that not coming from me, but when we had Tom Eltang on last year, he's got a big screen TV in his workshop. And so like, as they're sitting around carving and sanding and everything, he's also watching Netflix. So I'm just a little tip for you.
I have a TV. Heath bought that for me years ago. And I tend to watch movies that I've seen a lot so that I can hear it. My TV's kind of off to the side. So if I'm sitting at my workbench, it's over here. And if it's a movie I haven't seen or that I'm really interested in, I end up doing this and not working. I'm literally holding a pipe or sandpaper or a file and staring at the wall. So if it's something that I've seen, I kind of watch the movie in my head as I work, and I'm not actually watching the movies. So yeah, the TV's usually going on. It's scary movie season, man. Scary movies left and right, all of them, any of them. I love them all. My 2 youngest are inside right now watching Paranormal Activity.
Oh, cool.
Probably the 5th time they've seen it, and know they're not sleeping well, but they got to learn to deal with it sooner or later.
So you are so our kind of person right now. Listen,
you can always do like audiobooks too.
Hold on, David, because I'm going to open it up to questions. Guys, this is a great time to ask questions of Scotty. David, we'll go right to you first. And also, if you are watching on the live stream and you have a question for Scotty, just throw it up there and I will ask it for you. So one of the guys watching on Facebook, Scotty, just said that he commissioned, or they, because I don't know who it is, their name doesn't pop up. They commissioned a 7-day set of pencil shank billiards from you, and it's an unbelievable set, they say. So they're really happy.
I remember that set. I think the pictures of those are still on my website gallery, actually, and those were my header photo on Facebook forever. That was a really, really fun set to make. And I had someone earlier this year reach out to me about a 7-day set. And now I can't find the email to send them, a message and ask them if they're still interested, and they haven't gotten back with me. But yeah, that billiard set was fantastic. Probably one I'll never forget.
Awesome. Hey, David, I'm sorry for interrupting you earlier. Go ahead and ask your question there.
It was not a question. It was like a suggestion, like to get audiobooks instead.
Yes, I have Kindle Unlimited, but I'm a girl, so I read J.D. Robb, which is Nora Roberts, and if any of you have wives, you probably know who Nora Roberts is. It's her pen name. They're futuristic cop novels, so there's some action. Somebody always gets beat up. There are love scenes, but I like kind of the police procedural. But yeah, I listen to a lot of audiobooks. For Christmas this year, I got some earpods, whatever you want to call them. So most of the time somebody comes out here to talk to me and I don't even hear them because I've got those in and I'm in a completely different world. So yeah, love audiobooks.
Then I suggest you can add like a red light, green light to see when you're available to talk.
That's actually a really good idea. That would come in beneficially here.
Yeah, we have a lot of common. My dad was in auto body, And I grew up in an auto body shop, and I own an automotive repair shop. So I'm on the other end of that, being a mechanic. And my kids right now are watching Halloween for I don't know. They've been watching Halloween since I have 4 kids. They all watch Halloween, the original one, since they were like 3, and they watch it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So the question is, when are you going to start making pipes?
I have no skill as far as that goes, as far as I know, but I'll leave that to professionals.
But I saw you had your hand up. Was that a question or?
Yeah, I did. I've met Scotty at a couple of West Coast pipe shows, and I've also seen her on other Zooms and live streams where at different pipe shows. And every once in a while, you rock a really nice brim, hat on your head. And I was just wondering if you had a collection of hats because that's not something I see a lot of women wearing these days.
My husband and kids hate them. I have my grandpa's flat cap that they don't let me out of the house in. There's a really awesome Irish import store just north of the city here in one of the small river towns called the Celtic Ranch. And I've gotten a hat from them that everybody's like, we don't like that hat, but I wear it anyway. I've got a Royals hat. I've got a couple Chiefs hats. I've got a really old St. Louis Cardinals hat. I grew up closer to St. Louis than I did Kansas City, so the Birds will always have my heart. But I'm a Royals fan now because I've been here in Kansas City for 18 years. Yeah, I've got quite the collection of hats. I wear them all the time, and nobody likes them but me. So
you do a good job with them.
Thanks. I have a fedora. They say I look good in a fedora, so I get to wear the fedora out of the house. I wear the fedora.
There you go. Good choice.
You can wear it in the basement so they know that you're on your own zone.
Yeah, I wear it in the garage. I wear hats out here a lot. My hair is just long enough that it's in my eyes when I work. So hats are back when I work.
Super.
So
are there any particular kinds of briar you prefer to work with?
90% of my briar is cut specifically for me by Mano. I supplement with stuff from Makis, stuff from Mimo, but the bulk of what I have is from Mano. And this block is Mano. And that's pushing 11 inches long. So I will make a 15, 16-inch long pipe out of this by the time you put a stem on it.
Have you made any of the pencil shanks with like all briar, like a briar stem?
I haven't. And I've thought about it before, and I've actually been asked that quite a bit. So the finished diameter of my shanks is about 3/10 of an inch, which leaves about 1/8 of an inch. Let's see. Leaves about 1/8 of an inch of wall thickness in the, I don't know if you can see that. Maybe I should have picked a darker stem.
No, that's a good one. That's a good view.
So briar is not really stable when it gets to be that thin. And I do not think with the moisture that would come through it as you smoke, I don't think it would hold up at all. Like I might make one for fun one day just to see how it works, but I wouldn't ever give someone that without another stem that would go with it.
Well, I have to say that even with a larger diameter, briar mouthpiece is not really practical. It usually doesn't stand well to moisture. They don't last long. And I saw some of those pipes. Some of my friends had them, and they had to order replacement stems.
Yeah.
Also, I want to mention that Scotty's pipes were featured in one of the issues of Pipes and Tobaccos magazine a few years ago. And I think it's a huge accomplishment for any pipe maker.
Yes, that was actually a really fantastic day. So that magazine that did the article on me that's the same year that I won the first Kansas City carving contest that I ever won. That was the year of the author. So that weekend at the show, they announced the winners. I find out that I not only made the 7-day set, I was told that I had the best pipe of the 7-day set. And about 30 minutes later, George Debos comes over and grabs me and he's like, hey, I have more good news. Pipes and Tobaccos wants me to write a feature on you. So that was kind of the high point. You know, everything happened within like 30 minutes of each other. So I accomplished a huge goal in making it into the 7-day set. And really, I didn't know if the Pipes and Tobacco article would ever actually happen. So, and then being on the cover of the last issue was a total surprise. I knew that I would be in that article about women in the pipe world. And kind of the direction that article was going. But until I pulled that last issue out of my mailbox, I didn't know that my pipe was on the cover. So that was a fantastic surprise. I called and ordered extra of those.
Yeah, I remember that issue very well. And I remember your winning pipe in that 7-day set. Yep.
Yep.
So Scotty, congratulations on all those wonderful accomplishments. I have a question about this pipe. One of my friends was out at the Kansas City Pipe Club and spoke with you, and he was talking with you about the construction of this pipe, and he said the metal tube is running all the way through. So can you just talk a little bit about the construction and how you make these durable?
Yeah, so when I first started kicking this idea around, I did literally throw the first 20 in the trash. Figuring out the turning process, how to set the stainless. If you put a 3/16 inch outside diameter steel tube in a 3/16 inch hole, it doesn't work. You have to drill the hole a little bit bigger. I figured that one out real quick, right? This is natural up here, guys. I don't diet, I promise. So it was all the little things like that. And I found out rather quickly that in order to make them stable and make them survive a drop, which was kind of the whole joke of this in the first place, was how thin can you make it and make it durable, make it survive a drop. That stainless steel tube goes all the way through and stops just short of actually entering the tobacco chamber. So it passes through the bowl shank junction and is into the bowl itself. And if I did not measure right, and I do not set the stainless into the bowl enough, they don't ever make it out of the shop because I break them before I ever finish them. And that happens 2 or 3 times a year. And I would rather break it making it than send it out into the world and have it break. I'm not going to say that one has never broken. I've never heard of one breaking. I've never had anyone reach out to me and say they broke one of my pipes. So I'll take that as a pretty.
They're afraid of all your brothers in the car shop there.
I ain't got no brothers, and as big as Heath is, he's only here to hold my coat. I'm the one you got to worry about. My hair catches on fire. I turn into Godzilla. It's not pretty, but I'm the one you have to be afraid of. My mom's a true redhead, and I'm half Irish and half German, which means I'm drunk and always looking for a fight. Just.
Scotty promised that she might give us a tour around her shop. Scotty, do you feel like maybe walking us around?
So what I was going to do is I was actually going to log into this meeting on my phone because I think that would be easier than trying to do it on my computer.
All right, I'm gonna let you work on that for a second. I'll make a couple of announcements while you're doing that. I don't have a whole lot of announcements because next week I will not be here, and our buddy Oliver will be the host of the virtual Pipe Club meeting. However, doesn't mean I'm not going to be in the meeting, because I'll be in be in Richmond for the Richmond Pipe Show, and I'll have my phone with me and do a virtual tour of the Richmond Pipe Show. Might even do a little bit of live streaming when we go to the Sutliff factory tour. That would be fun. And so be sure to, if you can't make it out to Richmond, or if you can't make it to any of the pipe shows this year, tune into the virtual Pipe Club meeting next week and hang out with us while I do the tour. We're gonna give an attempt to stop by a lot of tables, and I'm gonna attempt to do this. I'll have these on so that I can hear you, and then I can pass along the questions that you might have to the people at the tables and whatnot. We'll see how that goes. Tim and David Martinez did a fantastic, job at Columbus. But every time you go to a hotel and you're in one of the conference rooms or something like that, the Wi-Fi is just horrible. So we'll get what we get. And then when I come back the following week, we do not have a guest speaker, so it'll be a topic that we can all hang out and chat about, and it'll be TBA about what that topic actually will be. When Scotty comes back, we'll get a tour. She's got to figure out how to log in using her phone. But in the meantime,
I'm back.
Oh, she's back. Okay. Well, then I'm
back.
going to turn it right back over to her. And oh, look at that.
Okay, so pretty quick and painless here. I literally work down like one wall and half of the garage door. What I use to square up my blocks, my shaping disc, this is where all of the mistakes happen, and rather quickly and painfully, and knuckles get hacked off and fun times. She's the devil. Sandblasting cabinet, I use a pressure pot. I did upgrade from a crappy Harbor Freight air compressor to my big, beautiful 60-gallon Ingersoll Rand a couple of years ago. That was my Christmas present to me. Dust collector, band saw. These are my kids, Dylan, Shane, and Josephine, from left to right. Those are ballet pictures, and now Dylan is the only one that still does ballet. She's 11, and I think that is her calling. There's my I Beat Rhea and Manduela trophy. The next Chicago show, they are going down again. Someday, maybe. This is my wood lathe. It is a Grizzly 42 by 22. Which means that I can turn something 42 inches long and 22 inches in diameter. So I literally have 11 inches in between the ways and the center of my chuck. I have turned a pipe that the shank was that long on, and it was extremely scary. I literally had about 1/8 of an inch clearance as it swung around. I don't know if I'll ever do it again. It's pretty scary. Lathe turning tools, my drill press, which I actually buff my pipes on. I drop the table out of the way and I buff sideways. Everybody thinks I'm nuts, but it's the only way I've ever done it. Workbench, odds and ends. This isn't clean. This isn't dirty. This is just kind of always the way it looks. But yes, I know exactly what's here and where everything is. Don't touch it. Don't clean it. It's where I want it. This is my workbench. This is where I spend most of my time. Sandpaper, stain. This is where the magic sometimes happens. My dog bed. I got a dog a little while ago. This is pulled everything out of this drawer. This is where I keep my pipes that are finished as I'm finishing everything off. And that is really about it. Briar, some more briar, lots of fun briar. my rods. So what I do every time there's a pipe show and either Steve Norse or SEM are there, I try to bring home as many different colors of rod stock as possible.
You use acrylic and vulcanite, or?
I have not made an acrylic stem in forever. I kind of hate acrylic. Right, let's see how quick we can do this. I am going to mute myself here. And now I'm back over here. Nice.
I also have a question about the compressor.
Yeah.
Is there a huge difference between blasting with, is it just how frequently the compressor cycles, or with the PSI, is it make a better blast?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. So this one will run at 100%. So if it is running, it can actually catch up and go and turn off, whereas the other one would just run and never be able to keep up. So I would be able to sandblast. It was a little 21 gallon, you know, on wheels, like 5 horsepower. I would sandblast for like a minute and a half and it would kick on and I would have to stop for 3 minutes. And then I would sandblast for a minute and a half and I would have to stop for 3 minutes. And now, depending on the piece of briar and how fast it wants to blast, I can sandblast a pipe in 5 minutes, or it might take me 15. But if the compressor kicks on, I don't have to stop working. So that's made a huge difference.
Scotty, what's your pace like? You talked about, you know, some months you make 45 pipes, which, by the way, is just brutal. And then some months you make 5 pipes. What's your typical tempo in making a pipe?
You know, if the stars align, the phone doesn't ring, there's not a kid home bothering me, I don't have anything else to do but make a pipe, I can make one in 4 or 5 hours. And that's really just everything clicks, it all goes smooth, it blasts really easily, and it's really kind of problem free. It just really depends. I will have weeks where that happens and I make, especially if I'm working at night, I can make 2 pipes a day. But, you know, do I get up out of my chair after dinner? Does the phone ring? Do I have errands to run? I mean, I'm at the grocery store almost every day. Everybody knows me there by name. I am Norm at the grocery store, literally. And everybody's like, hey, Scotty, how's it going? Has it been 24 hours since you've been here? You know, no, but give me a beer. I spend a lot of time at the store. Yeah, it just really depends. Like this pipe here, I put this pipe on the lathe a week ago. So I have drilled for the stainless. I have set the stainless steel tube, and that's as far as I've gotten. So this needs to go back on the lathe. I need to turn the shank. I need to turn it around in the chuck, drill the chamber, and drill or shape the bowl. I might get to that on Monday. It just depends on what happens in between now and then and what else I have to do.
Can you walk us through your process? We've been lucky enough to have a few different carvers come on and they talk about, you know, the step 1, step 2, step 3. Do you play it all by ear, or do you have like a meticulous, you know, process that you use?
No, so I don't assembly line pipes. I really don't like to have more than one going at a time. I'm kind of a start to finish. I don't do batch work well. It's, you know, starts like it does with anybody else. Draw the pipe on the block, put the pipe on the lathe. When it comes off the lathe, it looks like this. And I have to take it to the shaping disc and knock all of the fun stuff off. And this one still needs a little bit more work. And then I'll put the stem on it, rough shape the stem, and then I sit down at the workbench, finish everything else off, and then sandblast it. And it's step 1, 2, 3, 4, straight down the line. I rarely deviate from how I do things. There are times, however, where I know I'm only going to have an hour today. So I generally always have a block in a chuck that's ready to be turned, because the epoxy I use has to sit overnight before I can turn the shank. So if I only have an hour, I'm going to put this thing on the lathe, and I'm going to drill it and turn it and get it to this point. And then I'm going to put it in a box. That way, the next time I only have an hour, I'm going to put a stem on it or rod stock, and I'm going to rough shape everything. So there are times that I kind of work in steps like that, but days I'm going to have 3, 4, 5, 6 hours in the shop. It's a start to finish deal.
So I have a quick question. I really like the style of your non-pencil shank pipes as well. What's the ratio? I'm sure it's a ton, but what's the ratio
700 to 1.
Kind of what I figured.
Yeah, I made 40 authors for the NASPC last year. And that was the most regular pipes that I had made probably in 5 years. So I've got this one. This is a commission that is
I love that.
being finished, big XL author. And I have this pipe that I actually meant to bring to Columbus that did not get put in my bag. So I had 24 pipes on my table, 23 pipes on my table at the show, and this would have been the only regular pipe that was there.
See, that's awesome. Now, do you get excited when you actually get a commission that's not a pencil shank, because you get to, a break from the norm?
It's actually quite the opposite. So what's nice about the pencil shanks, and the reason I can make them so fast, is this is all lathe work, right? I'm only shaping the bottom, and this one's a little extreme. I usually try to bring on the lathe, I bring this bowl down as close to the shank as possible when I turn it. So I'm literally only turning the bottom 1/4 of an inch, or I'm shaping by hand the bottom 1/4 of an inch of the pipe. So there's just not a lot of handwork I have to do, because I can get that junction right there so close together that the less handwork I can do, the faster I can make them. When I make an author, I'm turning that much of the top of the shank, literally like 1/4 of an inch. I'm only turning the bowl down to the bowl shank junction, and the entire rest of this bowl has to be shaped by hand. That stem, there is a massive amount of stem material that has to come off before I can bend it. So I really, as much as I love authors, billiards, princes, and there's a lot more work involved, a lot more hand work. It's not that I don't enjoy it when I get a regular pipe. It's just not, the process isn't as fast for me anymore.
Yeah, from a productivity standpoint, it just puts a...
Mike wants to know if you have a pencil shank class 5 chimney.
Yeah.
I have actually made a 2 3/4 inch tall pencil shank.
You're talking my style.
I'm trying to think. I think it was about 5.5, 6 inches long. On my standard pencil shank, some pencil shanks I've been doing a little thicker. So there's a thicker one compared to my normal pencil shank. So, but that one had the normal pencil shank on it. And it was about 2 3/4 inches tall. And very, very slender. I don't think it was but 1 1/4 inches in diameter.
I'll have to email you next time one of those is made. I'll take it.
Those I only do when someone wants one.
Deal.
And it's more, sometimes when I turn the really long shanks, it can kind of get scary, and it's, I don't want to use the word tedious. It's just to turn this shank. This is about 45 minutes of standing at the lathe. And once you get to about here, the harmonic vibration of this thing spinning around, and there's just enough flex in that stainless steel that it gets very interesting. I do not use a metal lathe. I do everything by hand on a wood lathe, which means that tool is into my side and is kind of anchored to me as I work my way down the shank, which means if I sneeze, if I breathe too heavy, if I move just wrong, that tool jerks and the pipe jumps off the lathe. I don't think it happened with this one. I actually have a box somewhere that's got pipes with broken shanks or bent shanks or huge chunks out of the side of the block where I had a catch and it came off the lathe at me, and it's very scary. Usually my tool rest catches them and keeps them from, like whizzing at me. The tool rest will catch it, and it either kind of off center turns around the tool rest, or it'll just fall on the floor. So stim material blowing up, it goes everywhere. It's like somebody just hurled big, huge chunks of glass at you. But the briar, luckily, I've never taken a stainless steel tube at 800 RPMs in the face. I do wear a face shield.
Good. I was just going to ask you if you wore a face shield. I hope you do. It's a good thing to have.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, although you say that you are more comfortable doing pencil shanks, right? Because it's simpler work. But the fact that you are turning that thin on a wood lathe, it will mean like every other pipe maker would stand away from it. Would never do it. Right?
And mine are all stainless steel lined. I have made, I'll show it to you guys. I have made, this pipe is unlined. So it's based off this pipe right here. This one has stainless steel tube in it. This one does not. I did this for a friend. I did this for Carl Studenmeyer, for everybody that knows Carl. He's asked me for a pipe forever. I finally did it, and I cheated. So when I made this pipe, I found a way to temporarily lane it. I have some 5/32 outside diameter stainless steel tube. So after I drilled the airway, I put a tube in a tube so that it's lined and the joint is stable. And until I give this to Carl, I'm not taking that piece of tube out. So
after that, it's on him.
right, yeah. But he asked, there's only stainless in the shank to about there. So it's about like a bamboo pipe that's been put together with stainless. I do not want to tempt fate and start doing it regularly, but I was pretty, I don't want to say impressed. I was proud of myself for being able to do this one the way that I did, and it's still in one piece. We'll see how it goes after I try to buff it and wax it. That's a whole nother animal. I do throw pipes across the garage 4 or 5 times a year. So the regular pencil shanks that are lined, it doesn't even hurt them. It's not a big deal. But this one, I'm going to be scared the entire time.
David, I see you got a question.
To go a bit into detail about how you drill very long and deep but straight? I mean, I think that's the most difficult part, right?
It is, yes. So this is actually a reject block, and it looks straight, right? But if you look down in the bowl, and I don't know, when I drilled this, the stainless does not run straight down the tube or straight down the shank. It's at an angle. So the airway is about 4 millimeters to the bottom side. If I were to finish this and sandblast it, there's hardly any briar over that stainless steel tube right there. And I've actually had this pipe for a very long time. It just stays on the shelf as a reminder to slow down. And when I first start drilling for the airway or for the tube, to make sure that that is spot on and running true. And the longer it goes, the more that play comes into account. If it's a 2-inch long shank, I don't worry about it. That's not long enough for that run out to even play a part. But shanks that are over 4 or 5 inches, I really, really, really have to go slow. That shank, even though I messed it up, took 30 minutes to drill.
Wow.
David Klein, I saw that you got a question. Why don't you hop in there?
Thank you. I'm just wondering, with the aluminum tubing in there, what do you recommend for cleaning the pipe? Do you recommend a special product like alcohol or special technique? What kind of cleaning regimen do you recommend?
So I use surgical stainless steel tube. The only thing you have to do to keep my pipes clean is just hit it with a pipe cleaner as soon as you're done smoking and swab the chamber out with a paper towel. It's just that simple. The nothing in the smoke will build up on the inside of the stainless steel tube. You really don't even ever have to take the stem off of them if you don't want to. I've got one that I've been smoking for 5 years, which doesn't say much because I don't smoke very often. I've never taken the stem off of it. But I religiously, as soon as I am done, hit it with a pipe cleaner and a paper towel. And that stainless steel tube is as clean as the very first time I smoked it.
Yeah, well, actually, with the stainless steel tube, it's easier to keep the pipe clean than with the briar. Briar is porous; it absorbs all the tar, all the moisture. That's why it builds up in a shank. With the stainless steel tube, you don't have to worry about it. If you clean it with a dry pipe cleaner while it's still hot, before the tar solidifies, you don't need to worry about it at all. And if you don't clean it right away, then just grain alcohol or vodka will do the trick. It will soften the tar and run it with a pipe cleaner, and that's it.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you. I've got a Falcon pipe that I bought used. It's an estate pipe, and it was pretty dirty in the tube. And I've been trying to just run a pipe cleaner through there, soaked in some Everclear, and they're still coming out brown. So I'm just wondering.
Yeah,
thank you for your input.
With the Falcon, just take off the bowl, put it into some like container, fill it with vodka, let it sit for a while. It will dissolve the tar, and then just clean it with a pipe cleaner, and that's it.
Okay, thanks for that info.
Scotty, I have a question for you. I have two. You can choose one of the two. Number one, if you could hang out in the shop of any pipe makers, alive or deceased, who would you hang out with? And second question, this is a pipe and football question. If Patrick Mahomes was a pipe maker, which 3 pipe makers do you think he would be?
I didn't know Houdini made pipes, one. Yeah. That's a really tough question. So I did not have a typical early pipe making experience where I played with everyone else's pipe designs while I stumbled into which one I liked best. I have made 2 blowfish, and I discovered about halfway through the first one, and the second one was a collaboration with Jesse Jones, so he shaped it and I finished it, so that one really doesn't count. I've made 1 blowfish, and I got halfway through it and kind of forgot what I wanted to do with it, where I wanted it to go. So I've never shaped first and then freehand drilled anything. All of my pipes are done in a chuck on the lathe. I turn everything first. So I don't guess I have I don't have a favorite pipe maker. I don't have a favorite style. I don't aspire to be like whoever when I grow up. So that's a really hard question, who I would want to spend a day with. Probably I would say Manduela, because I think I would have the most fun there. Pipes aside, that would be a pretty fantastic day. I think visiting Tom would probably be the same. I mean, all in all, I've been to Premel's shop for a day before Columbus show once. I've spent maybe 5 or 6 hours with Quentin Wells, and I've spent a couple of days worth of time with George Debos. So I haven't visited a lot of people, but I don't know. Manduela, because it would be a fun day, really.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We have a couple of questions that came in on the live stream groups. First of all, Simon's there and he says hello. And he wants to know a technical question. In drilling such a long shank here, I'm trying to find his question. How do you prevent the drill bit from flexing on that long depth there?
I have 4 different lengths of drill bits. So I start with a drill bit that's 2 inches long, and then I go to one that's 6 inches long, like a normal drill bit. And then I go to one that's 8 inches long. And then I have one that's a foot long, and I have one that's 18 inches long. So I just slowly step up the size as they get longer. And as long as that first one runs true, the rest of them will run true as well. I never lock my tailstock, and I never push on the tailstock to drill. So what takes these so long is I literally have to push the drill bit into the hole until I find where I'm at. And then I crank the hand wheel 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I have to pull it out and clear chips and go back in. 4 turns on my hand wheel is probably about 3/16 of an inch. So it's a long, slow process.
So do you start with a spotting drill or a sander drill? Does it matter?
No.
Just start with a stub drill.
Yeah.
Thank you.
2 other questions. One is, do you make any filtered pipes?
It's actually a question I get a couple times a year. I will have someone email me or send me a message. Hey, can you make a pencil shank that'll take a 9mm filter? The outside diameter of my pencil shanks is about 7.5 millimeters. So I have never made a filter pencil shank. I've never made a filtered regular pipe either, but no, I haven't found a way to make a filtered pencil shank yet.
And the other question is, which is one I'm delighted somebody asked, and this is something I was going to pop in with either way, is the best places to find your pipes. So you have your own website, ladybreyer.com, and you can go on that website and see her gallery. And on that website, do you post what pipes are available, or is it just email
I
you?
have an e-commerce store. I used to be really good about taking pictures and uploading pipes. And I think there's one pipe on my website that's still in a drawer. And it's a teeny tiny little itty bitty thing that I'll probably have forever, which is no big deal. And I've gotten as bad as I don't even post pictures of finished pipes as I finish them on Instagram or Facebook. So if you want to pipe directly from me, send me a message or an email or give me a call and ask me what I have, because I'm horrible about actually showing my finished work. Other than that, Smoking Pipes Europe. And if you are in China or Hong Kong, you can get with Vic Ma.
And I would highly recommend that you go check out her work because.
Oh, and Legal Pipes and Blue Room Briars. They have some too.
And one other tip, if you go look 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, when Tim and David were at the Columbus Pipe Show, they passed by Scotty's table and had a really good shot at a collection of her pipes that she had there for sale. And so I go on to YouTube and search for that particular episode and take a look, and you can see a whole lot of like pipes in the wild, we might say. Super.
Yep. And I have a few of those left. And as soon as I get around to sewing more pipe bags, those are headed to smoking pipes sometime this week. And I've got 4 pipes here left from the show that have been in my drawer because this has been a crazy month and I haven't had time to pull fabric in the sewing machine out and make pipe bags.
Hey, Scotty, I have a question. Being a former resident of Kansas City and I have a twin brother that lives there, when's the next Kansas City show?
I was actually really active in the Kansas City Club for 2 or 3 years. I was on the board of directors. I was on the show committee. I haven't been to a meeting in a couple of years. It just, Thursday nights is way too much stuff going on for me to drive across the city. They were supposed to have one this month, but I think it's been punted to next September, from what I understand.
Okay. Well, what's your home address then?
It's on my website.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, I'm easy to find. Google me. I'm all over the place. But like I said earlier, I am very well armed. So come prepared if you're trying to take my stuff.
My brother's got a dozen guns, so we'll be there.
Good, you can help me hold the corner.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
Now, statements by our club members do not necessarily reflect the policies of the Virtual Pipe Club. Just saying right now. I've got a couple of other questions that I wanted to ask you, but first, let me open it up as we've been doing. It's nothing new, but I want to encourage you if the guys here in the Zoom room have some other questions, hop up and ask Scotty. And same for the people watching over there on Facebook and YouTube. Toss up some questions. Those were a couple of great questions you guys asked. Oh, there is one, Scotty, that was asked earlier that I didn't have time to ask when you were talking about scary movies. Somebody wanted to know if there was one movie that succeeded in scaring the bejesus out of you.
Okay, so Freddy Krueger. I cannot watch a Freddy movie. When I was little, I'm 40. I'm 29 forever. I'm 40. When I was very little, the first Freddy movie came out. I would have been like 3, I think. And my mom and dad, rented the VHS and had it over the weekend. And at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday morning, I was sitting on the couch and watching that movie. And my mom was like, oh my God, we're all going to hell. I can't believe my 3-year-old's watching this. So from a very early age, I was just like fascinated by the Freddy movies. So I was about 5 and we went to the county fair. And you remember the game where you throw the darts and you pop the balloons and you win a poster or you win the little piece of painted glass in the really crappy cardboard frame? Well, I did that. And the guy says, okay, you can have any poster, you can have any piece of painted glass you want. And I said, I want that Freddy Krueger poster. And my mom and dad are like, really? And I was like, yes, Freddy's my boyfriend. I'm taking Freddy home with me. So we get home that night and my mom and dad are like, okay, where are we going to hang this poster? And I walked into my room and I looked around and I climbed up on the bed and I laid down and I said, I want to put that thing right there. And they hung that above my bed on the ceiling. So I slept for like 3 months with Freddy Krueger on the ceiling right above my bed. And I shared the room with my sister, who's 2 years younger than I am. And I had my own room for 3 months too, because she wasn't sleeping in there with that thing. And I came home from school one day and they had had enough because I wasn't afraid. You know, they were tired of my sister sleeping with them. So they pulled it off the wall or off the ceiling and threw it in the trash. And I came home from school to my mom making meatloaf, cracking eggs, and throwing them on the Freddy poster. And I was so upset. Oh my God, my life is over. You're such a mean parent. You got rid of my poster. But ever since then, I had like really vivid, horrible nightmares about Freddy Krueger. So that's it. I don't watch Freddy movies. I'm good with it. I'm good with all of the other scary movies. But yeah, I can't do Freddy. And it's my mom's fault.
So you don't do the pit on the fourth movie because I'm a big fan. I kind of couple years older than you, but I grew up watching the first 5 all in a row. Then you remember on the fourth one he's doing with the pizza and the olives?
Yes. I've seen them all.
You can do that night, pizza and Freddy Krueger night.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Now I'm gonna have nightmares tonight. No, I'm good now, but yeah, as I was in high school when one of the last ones came out, and I actually broke a seat in the movie theater because I had my feet up on the seat in front of me. And I got so scared, I kicked my feet and I broke the seat. So, yeah.
What about the creature from the Black Lagoon?
Oh, I love all the old stuff.
Oh, it scared the bejesus out of me.
Yeah.
I got a quick
Stephen
question.
and I were there when that movie was made. So
yes, we were.
Yeah.
But
I
was
have a
5.
question. I have a question, Scotty. Have you ever worked with bamboo?
I have. I actually have been very neglectful sending a picture to a guy in Indonesia so that I can start his commissioned bamboo pipe. It's not my favorite. I have quite a bit of bamboo. I make a bamboo pipe maybe once every 2 years, but I really, really got to be in the mood and want to make that pipe. And I don't know if it's, you know, the tediousness of matching the bamboo up to the briar and ebonite, but I've never really been a fan. And it's not from an aesthetic standpoint. One of my very favorite pipes is a bamboo pipe that James Gilliam made. I smoke it more than anything else I own, but making them, I don't think I do it enough to be comfortable with it, really.
Thank you.
Scotty, on that note, so first of all, let me just remind everybody who's here in the club meeting today, we don't freak out and jump out of your seat, but I just want to say that we are heading into the last 20 minutes of the meeting today. That's just to let you know, but doesn't mean you can go anywhere, so hang on. So my question, though, Scotty, is about your personal pipes and what you smoke and what your favorite tobacco might be. And if you've got some laying around, would you share them with us?
Yeah, give me like a minute. I'll be right back.
Okay, we can do that.
Let's see, what would it be? God, I can't even think of something. A pancake is not even a pan or a cake. Discuss.
All right, while you guys are figuring out how to answer that question, Oliver, do you want to give us an update on our club pipes this year?
Oh, God.
I would love to, but there's nothing new. So I had yesterday another conversation with Altinai, and the only good thing is pretty much all of the bolts are pretty much done. So, and they are still waiting for the mouthpieces, and when they got it, then they can ship it out, and a couple of days later, you guys can have it.
Hey, question on those. Is Meerschaum stable? Does it work? Is it okay in cold weather?
Yeah, it is. It's pretty much a porous stone, so if you don't drop it on the floor, you're good.
No.
Yeah.
It's so fine, it doesn't melt or anything.
Just like with the briar, it's not advisable to smoke it in extremely cold weather because meerschaum, just like briar, might crack because of the difference of temperature outside of the bowl and inside the bowl. They expand and contract at a different ratio inside and outside, and then it might crack, just like briar. So if it's like -40 outside, don't smoke your pipe outside.
I think the only person we have to worry about is Boris with Yerky, because he's always in 40 below out there. Great. Oops. Thank you, Oliver. For those guys who are watching over there on the live stream, so we have a beautiful 2021 club pipe that Oliver arranged for us to get from Altınay in Turkey, but they're all gone. So we're only telling you that for pipe envy purposes. But we're 4 months away from the end of the year. So it's not too early to start thinking about putting some pennies away for your 2022 club pipe. And who knows what that shape might be like. We're actually open for suggestions about ideas. I know.
Costello. That's what I heard, right?
We're going to have Costello make us some...
$99 including shipping worldwide.
Sold. I'll take 10 of them.
Yeah, as long as they're class 5 with a chimney.
That's right.
Speaking of commissions and whatnot, one of the things that we're going to be putting up on the Virtual Pipe Club Facebook page for some suggestions and consideration. As you might remember, Dimitri made a valiant attempt at putting together some Virtual Pipe Club blend, and nothing that was his fault at all, but just the atmospheric conditions in New York over the summer just spoiled it all. But who was it who had pulled out? Randall, was it you who was smoking something from Watch City?
Yeah, it was Randall.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exciting.
So when Ernie was
Ahab's
on
Comfort,
which I have some, you're right, that's very smooth.
It's a great one.
When Ernie was on, he actually said that he regularly makes club blends. So
perfect.
I was thinking that we should go back to Ernie and see if he'd make some. So we'll want to know what you guys would vote on for the type of blend that we could do for
Virginia Perique. Would it be anything else?
That's right. Well, unless Miguel wants him to do a version of M4 Virginia, but
if you remember what Ernie Quintiliani said, just don't phone him before it goes to pre-order because he yelled at you. So just make sure to remember that.
That's right.
Yeah, guys, also in my defense, I can tell you that same problem that I encountered with the tobacco, actually sometimes even much bigger than me, tobacco manufacturers have same problem. Like a couple of years ago, Cornell and Gill had to recall a whole batch of tobaccos because of the mold. Cigar makers encounter the same problem. Just like 2 days ago, I was chatting with a guy from Cavalier Cigars. He said, like, they were watching the tobacco very closely. In a matter of few hours, whole batch of tobacco was covered with mold, and they couldn't save it. They had to throw it away, and that was like a lot of tobacco. They basically pretty much harvest from the whole year. They had just to throw it away.
So we had a suggestion over there.
When you're
Several
working,
suggestions.
with unprocessed tobacco, it just happens.
Yeah, it's amazing that tobacco, that there is so much tobacco that doesn't get moldy every year. You watch how they process it. It's like
What matters,
in these
what
bars.
matters, yeah, what matters, Dimitri, is you tried. We all appreciated it. There's no issue about that, Dimitri.
And
We do
I will
appreciate it.
make it. And I will make it. It just won't be as early as I hope, but I will still make that tobacco.
So we're planning on that for the 2025 blend for the Virtual Pipe Club. Scotty's back.
I know, yeah. Okay, so I don't have. Oh, what happened?
You're good.
You're good.
You're good.
I lost everybody.
Oh,
There you are. Okay. Technology's my friend. I don't have a lot of pipes. I've traded a couple over the years. I have this Nate King, though I rarely smoke it. I have an old 1948 Dunhill shell briar.
Nice.
I have a Wayne Typet author.
Nice.
One of my favorite pipes to smoke is a Linea Britannia baby billiard. That is right up my alley, just my size. I have a two of a kind because he made me two, Clark Layton Briar Stogie that I actually smoke quite a bit. This is a fun pipe to smoke. I have my James Gilliam Bamboo Fig, which is a fantastic pipe. I love it. But my absolute favorite, hands down, pipe to smoke, because of the way that my favorite tobacco, 5100, smokes in it, is my Anthony Harris reverse calabash.
Wow.
And it's Kenny from South Park. It's even orange.
That's awesome.
So for whatever reason, this pipe with that tobacco, it's magical. It really is. And when I bought this pipe at the Chicago show 5 years ago, I think it was, I was about halfway through my first bowl and we were back in the VIP room, you know, the old owner's suite. And I think I passed this thing around the room for about an hour because I wanted everyone to try that tobacco in this pipe and experience what I was experiencing. It's fantastic. So that's my absolute favorite pipe. But as Lee Von Erck would say, you should never smoke anyone's pipe but your own in public. So this is my first attempt at a pipe that has a 0.25 inch diameter shank. This is my swizzle stick. This is a pipe that I have not taken apart since I made it. The stem does come off. It's got a stainless steel band on it. And the stainless steel band is actually hiding the mortise because the ebonite was so thin that it wasn't stable. This is the one I smoke at shows probably more than anything. I've sold two that are this thin. Since I made this one, I actually got some smaller stainless steel tube that was in this one. So yeah, those are my pipes. I've got a few more, but they're just more decoration in my pipe cabinet on the wall than anything.
Scotty, not to give you any kind of a nightmare or anything, but have you ever considered or tried, or would it even work to make a bent pipe, any degree of bend?
I have, yeah. So do you know Walt Hedinger?
No.
He's a pipe maker out on the East Coast. A lot of people call him Doc. I have made a few bent billiards with pencil shanks. Doc has one of them. The problem comes in a bend. This is a nice, smooth curve. all the way around. And when you bend a pencil shank, you get a bowl with a really weird, kinky shank, because there's no way to make that curve work, because I have not figured out and don't even want to try to figure out how to bend the stainless without breaking the.
Yeah, true.
Walt Canoy's doing it. I don't know how he's doing it. Voodoo, witchcraft, I'm not sure. But I have no desire to figure it out. Yeah, I do make bents. It works to a degree. I don't think they look too bad. They've kind of got an old, like, pipe Dan feel to them. They're a fun challenge.
Yeah, I have one suggestion for that. Make it with a straight shank, not very long shank, but straight shank, which comes under angle with a bent mouthpiece.
Yes. Yeah.
Pretty much like bent corn cob pipes are made. Straight shank set under angle with a bent mouthpiece, and that probably will work.
And I do bend the stems on them. It's just that underside bowl to shank transition is kind of at a weird kinky angle because the shanks, not how I would normally do a bent pipe.
Yeah. And Scotty, thank you for being the first guest on our club meeting who has used the word kinky. We're heading into the last 7 minutes of the club meeting today. I think this is when we're not going to want to go home with. So last chance to ask all of your questions of Scotty, and I'm bummed now. Scotty and I had a conversation on the phone about whether she was going to Richmond, and unfortunately, she has other plans that weekend. But I would love to. I said this in the chat room because people were saying, I love how Scotty keeps it real. And I said, I would love to sit down and have a beer with her. So I'm bummed that we won't have a chance to do that, but maybe next year.
Yeah, absolutely. Just one though, or I'll be asleep under the table.
You and me both. I'm too old for that. So
Scotty,
gentlemen, jump on in with your questions.
So two things. One, after hearing that 5100 was your favorite tobacco, I had never smoked it up until about 2 weeks ago. My buddy sent me, this is 1998 Red Cake, which I decided to smoke, which is absolutely amazing. I wish he never sent it to me because it's awesome. But I'm going to assume Scotty's not your God-given name. Is it? How's that come about?
It is.
Is it?
Yeah. My name is Scotty Christine.
That's awesome.
Oh, wow.
I was supposed to be a boy. So here I'll talking about kinky. Let's get weird. My maiden name is Wieners.
Oh my.
Wow.
Wow.
I was supposed to be a boy. God love them, but ultrasound technology in the early 80s was not what it is today. I have two twin boy cousins that are 2 years older than me that were supposed to be 1 9.5-pound girl that was 2 4.5-pound boys. Myself and their sister, who's 3 days younger than me, were both supposed to be boys. So maiden name's Wieners. My dad, I'm having a boy, I'm going to name him, and his name shall be Colt. God had a plan for me when he decided to make me a girl. I would have been Colt Wieners or Horse Dick the entirety of my life. So,
That's hard to survive. That's hard to survive.
Yeah. The Wieners was hard enough. I can't tell you how many times I had to beat somebody up for making fun of me when I was little. Thank goodness I'm as fiery as I am and survived it. So I've never seen the movie, but my mom tells me that back in the late 70s, there was a horror movie, again, scary movie fan, that there was a little blonde-headed girl in it whose name was Scotty. So they say, congratulations, it's a girl. And everybody in the room said, what? And she said, oh, we'll name her Scotty Christine. And everybody was mad because mom gave me a boy's name. And my dad said, no, I want to name her after my favorite actress, but I can't remember her name. It took him 2 more tries to remember his famous actress is Jodie Foster. So my littlest sister is Jodie, but it took a while. So my real name's Scotty. I used to tease people and tell them that it was short for Scottina. Oh, and I'm like, no, my name is really Scotty. So my oldest, we named Dylan because I had to pass that on.
I mean, I think that's like, you know, like Charlie, and like, I like, you know, boys' names for girls.
I actually tried to talk Heath into naming our youngest either Andy or Charlie, and he shot me down, and her name is Josephine. So
That's my youngest middle. I have 4, but that's my youngest. Her name's Jade Josephine. But
yeah,
after my great grandmother was Josephine.
Heath's 3 great grandmother was Josephine. So that one came off the family tree.
Well, just like to comment on anybody who wants a bend from Scotty. Maybe there's 3 shapes that I think would look good bent with a very small shank. It's a pickaxe or a tomahawk or even a cavalier with, you know, the shank goes through down towards the bowl. It'll be very nice.
Now I've actually made a cavalier, and those are really easy to make because what I do is I take the stainless steel and run it all the way through. And wherever I know the bowl is going to be, I notch the stainless tube out. So it runs down the back of the shank of the pipe, but where the bowl is, there's a nice big hole in it to drill the airway.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Scotty, you make calabash pipes also?
I do. So I grew gourds. Gosh, it's probably been 5 or 6 years ago. I grew calabash gourds and got 5 that were big enough to actually process and dry and make pipes out of. A couple of years ago, I went to the grocery store when they put out all of their gourds for fall, and I bought probably a dozen angel wing gourds. And I brought them home and processed them. And they all survived drying, but every one of them in the angel wings, there's a hole. So I've been playing on and off over the years with lining them with plaster of Paris to try to seal the holes up in order to make a pipe. And I'm just not quite there yet where I can start using those.
Question is, are you going to make a Freddy Krueger one with a hat, like a top lid?
That could be a possibility. I have a laser engraver. I could put Freddy on any one of my pipes.
And wait to see it.
We're all going to show up at Chicago next year expecting to see some Freddy pipes there.
I'm showing up to Chicago with a striped sweater and a knife glove. You know, my thing it shows is the second time you come by the table and stop and touch a particular pipe, I wheel chalk you, right? The third time you come around, you're buying that pipe. And if you've ever come by my table at a show, I've told you that before. I'm wheel chalking you next time you're taking that one home. I'll just start slashing people instead. We can make this work. If that, or I'll go Edward Scissorhands and start nipping holes in your clothes as you come by. We could have some fun with that. Might be a way to sell a few more T-shirts.
Yeah.
Scotty, I have a question, but don't take my question the wrong way. I'm a big fan of yours. But the ones that you make really long, like an arm length pencil shank, is it the first one that you make? Was it like to tease yourself how good you are, or it's like it's a commission? Because I take it that you don't like to make pipes that you don't like making, right? So
yeah, I probably turn away 5 or 6 commissions a year. If it's a pipe I don't like, I'm not going to make it. On top of the fact that if you want a bamboo pipe that Adam Davidson makes, you should probably have Adam Davidson make that pipe and not ask me to do it, because I don't make pipes like Adam does, you know? So the very first one that I made that was really long, absolutely, it was to see if I could do it. And it was working out the kinks of taking what I had mastered in a shank this long and seeing if I could double and triple the length of the shank to see if I could do it. After spending, almost 2 hours with me here, I'm sure you're all well aware that I have a very healthy ego. So I do. I kind of can't help it. I'm ridiculously competitive. So yeah, even if I'm competing against myself, it's all, can I one up myself? Can I do this better than anybody else? I am always the loudest person in the room. It's just kind of me. So I would never take offense to a question like that. But yeah, it was totally just to see if I could do it.
But another question is, do they smoke as good as the normal length, or is it more cumbersome to pack and to smoke, because it's so long? Does the smoke feels different draw than the other pipes?
I don't think that they smoke any different, but from a clinching standpoint, you get all of that weight, and not that the bowls are very heavy, but if you get a 30-gram bowl out on the end of 15 inches, I mean, it's like trying to put an oar in your mouth and hold it, even though the whole thing might weigh 38, 40 grams. So from that standpoint, the longer ones are hard to clinch. That's also why I make my buttons. That button is about 3/4 of an inch wide.
Mm-hmm.
That's why my buttons are as wide as they are, because if not, there's nothing to grab a hold of with your teeth, and the pipe will wag like a dog's tail in your mouth while you're trying to clinch it. So, and you can see on my first one here, that's less than 1/2 of an inch. And initially I thought, well, the button doesn't need to be very wide because you're not holding on to anything. And I found really quickly that this is the difference in between the two. They have to be that wide, or you just can't control the pipe.
Thanks.
All right. Well, the saddest part of my weekend has arrived, and that is the part where I tell everybody that you can't stay here, but you don't have to go home. You could do it wherever you want to, and that's only because, and Scotty, this is your first time here. I tried to encourage all the guys to now go and connect with their partners and their families and whatever, so that they don't get in trouble, and then you can come back next week. I know that I have to go because my wife will get me in trouble if I hang on too much longer. But I do have one more question for you, Scotty.
In about 25 minutes. So.
My question for you, Scotty, will you come back again? Because we have not even scratched the surface of all the things that we want to talk with you about.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think you've been one of the most fun people that we've had in the club to come and talk to us. So thank you very much.
Well, I'm really shy and introverted, and I don't like people, and I don't like talking about myself at all.
Bullshit. Excuse me. Sorry.
Rather a challenge for me. Yeah, no, I enjoy adult conversation. It's not something I get a lot of through the week because I'm home by myself. I see Heath early in the morning before he leaves, and when he comes home from work as we eat dinner before he falls asleep in his chair at 7:30. I'm always up for a good chat, really about anything. I'm a talker. I come by it honest.
Well, we loved having you here today, and we'd love to have you come back again. So we are at that time when I say that the time bell has rung. And once again, this is my favorite time of the week. It's the time when I get to spend time with some of my, and I know that I've never met any of these guys in person. It's all been completely due to the wonders of the internet that I've met them and had a chance to hang out with them. But I consider them to be some of my best friends. this group is so nice to hang out with, you know, congenial, polite, interesting, funny. And that's why I really treasured these times. So thank you guys for this meeting this weekend. The last thing I have to say, like I do every week, is we keep it non-political here. So I don't really care what measures you take, but, you know, get the vaccine, wash your hands, stay in the basement, wear a mask. I don't care, whatever you do, but keep yourself healthy, please. Take care of yourself so you can come back and see us next week. That's all that matters. Anyway, you guys are awesome. See you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you, Scotty.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Scotty.
Thanks, Scotty.
Thank you.
Scotty, thank you so much.
Thanks
You're
for the
welcome.
company, everyone. See
Thank
you
you.
soon. Bye now.
Bye.